All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to your Wednesday and welcome to all time highs. Yeah, it looks like it should be a relatively, hopefully, interesting day here. We're finally breaking out of that, call it quote unquote sell off zone, right? That we experienced at the end of the month. And we're almost like defying seasonality here to a certain extent. Historically, August isn't the necessarily most bullish month of the year, but pretty hard to not be bullish right now as we're seeing basically things, yeah, break out right into new all time highs and do so on volume. Certainly creates a relatively interesting backdrop for us to take advantage of. And hopefully, right, that gives us some clean and smooth price action what we've effectively seen inside, we'll say, from Thursday the 31st onward has been chop, right? And very like indecisive PA. One candle green, one candle red, right? Literally all the way up here. And so the exact opposite, right, of like a trend continuation narrative. Today we're looking to basically buck that trend a little bit here, hopefully establish some nice PA and then go from there. Same thing, right? Priority is to optimize for quality decisions, not for necessarily like the biggest win of the day. I'm trying to trade responsibly, trying to control dopamine, right? Even to a certain extent, and really just trying to put myself in a situation where I can be consistent, repeatable, and like not I don't know, like self sabotage myself, right? I think it's probably the best term here. Um, yeah, and I guess the other thing that's like kind of like rattling around in my head a little bit is I think probably today the market's going to want to make me feel as if I need to speed things up or I need to be fast or I need to do whatever. That's probably not the reality. I think that that's probably not the case. I think I probably should slow down, right? Be really deliberate here, really focus on getting just like the best possible discount I can possibly purchase. And yeah, make it easy, I think, for myself, right? To be green here today. Yesterday was kind of like you know, I don't want to say like a pointless day, but it was like relatively insignificant. But there were things that I liked about it a lot. I really liked, especially on that first trade, just the discount that I bought on my entry and how that made it easy for me to be green later on in the session. And I think that's something I really want to continue to focus on here, especially if we do kind of get back into like a little bit of a breakout type market or a trending market here to the upside as buying those really deep discounts, right? Being able to generate 10 to 1, risk reward and really skew odds in my favor will also set it up so that I can pyramid on positions when I do get follow through. Now, the sweet spot there, right, is probably it's more, I would like to be pyramiding more on days like yesterday versus days like Monday. So finding that balance, getting that momentum and rhythm to be correct. That's going to be really the priority here, and hopefully, right, that gives us, a smooth path, right, that we can handle. So, with that being said, so let's start mapping things out here a little bit. Let's figure out what we want to do here today, and then let's go from there. Do this little quick little refresh. So we got some Trump speak here today, fun. We've got some other Fed speak here today, and then we got crude oil inventories. So yeah, should be a relatively reasonable session. Let's see how it goes. So good morning, everybody. Welcome. I liked it too, Charles. I liked it too. For me, the big day on Monday is kind of like I don't want to say it was bullshit, but it didn't come necessarily from like the smoothest or the cleanest of processes. I want to be having smooth, clean process days here consistently. And yesterday was a much smoother variant of that. So now just want one of those to sync up, right, with some nice action, and then we'll really take advantage of whatever PNL is out there for us. Today, right, it's a 3 for 3 here to the upside. So we're looking for pretty much a bullish scenario only. We can maybe get back to a bear case here, right? If we can see that trending breakout here fail. But that will be more of a tomorrow problem than a today problem. Right now, we're at 64.90 here pre-market. So, 6,500 is going to be our starting point here realistically. And then, that might even be taken care of by the indicator. So then we'll go like 65.10 and all-time highs. You're probably thinking, implied range here today is 14.38 on the old Vixaruni. So, or we'll say 1%, just keep it tight. And that would be 65.40, right? Kind of as our starting point. Excuse me, almost ripped my shoulder out there. All right. So 65.40 will be kind of the starting point. Or yeah, if we get moved that size, I'll be pretty stoked. All right. NQ, very similar narrative here, right? 3 for 3 to the upside, green candle, green increasing volume, and then gap up, right? So all three elements there are telling us that we've got bullish control. Again, same thing here, implied move of 1%, a little bit less than 1% even today. So don't want to be too aggressive with my targets, but we should be able to get something here reasonably. That would be 24.2 by the looks of it. So not too much space left for us in store here today from just like an implied volatility perspective, but I'll map this out to 24,500. Again, we're at all-time highs, so very limited reasons to sell, but I don't know. Last time we saw all-time high price action, it was so frothy, it was so kind of bouncy and slow that I wouldn't expect it to be too aggressive here this morning. If we do get like a big bearish sell-off day here today, I'll just have to sit on hands. I'm not going to be interested in going counter trend here. I'm looking for consistent trending PA, and without that consistent follow through, then the chop that we've been kind of experiencing last, say, 2 or 3 weeks, it's not worth being hyper aggressive into. So I would rather be patient, sit on hands, not force it, basically not overtrade it, and wait for those smoother conditions to arrive. Okay, CL. Honestly, I kind of hate this thing sometimes. 3 for 3 here to the downside going into 1030 data. So it's crude oils inventories day. So no, excuse me, no bull case here. All right. I swallowed, so you guys would bear with me here. I swallowed a fly yesterday, and I cannot stop coughing since then. 62.50 would be the starting point here to the downside. Yeah, exactly. Oh, hello, zeros. 62.50 here as our starting. Oh, okay. And then, yeah, we can't go too much more aggressive than that. Again, we kind of have a 5% limit here, which I would not expect to really be an issue. And that's going to be approximately that $60 handle. Yeah. All right. Apple here, green candle decreasing, volume gap up, 2 out of 3 to the upside, still consolidating inside that Friday range, right? Tesla fake out lower low, 1 for 3 here to the downside. So failed, maybe bearish move. Microsoft, green candle, decreasing volume, gap up, 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. Oh no. Okay. My keyboard's being a bit funky here this morning. All right, Amazon, red candle, increasing volume, gap up. We'll call that weak, 2 out of 3 with volume. Oh man, why? All right. Nvidia, 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts, guys. Okay. My 0 and my O aren't working very nicely. All right. Big gap up here, 2 out of 3 without. Okay, meta 3 for 3, bull flag breakout here. I nailed that yesterday. Netflix, 2 out of 3 without volume. Don't need to change that. And then Google, 3 for 3. So, kind of our backdrop, right, is trending PA here on our leading names. VIX might be going lowest handle of the year territory here pretty soon, if not already. Yeah, so we're at the lowest reading of the year. Literally the slowest price action of the year is the expectation here today, right? So let's make sure that we kind of have our heads screwed on straight. You know, I guess like the pain in the ass sometimes, right, with slow PA is that it's really easy to just get tunnel vision on a move that ends up not being significant, and you just drain so much mental capital chasing something that isn't moving. So today's priority, I think, aggressively is to really make sure I'm managing just my expectations, right? Over how busy I need to be. I almost want to like be surprised that I get a trade for lack of a better term. I'm not sure if that necessarily describes quite the feeling that I'm trying to target here, but base expectation is slow and chop until proven otherwise. I need to see that proven otherwise here today. I need to see that clean move. I need to see some sort of indication that we have enthusiasm. So we've not seen much of that, and probably not a huge expectation that we're going to get a tremendous amount to follow through here today. So I want to be surprised. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. But I also want to be specific on what type of surprise party I'm basically looking to trade here today. And hopefully, right, we can get ourselves some smooth PA and some good price action. Again, I do think it's a pretty good time to buy some cheap insurance here. You know, lowest VIX of the year, kind of a buy low, sell high type scenario. So definitely be something I'll be looking at here a little bit in my long term portfolio. But yeah, let's see what the market has in store for us here today, and yeah, let's go from there. Any questions here, team? How's everyone feeling? Good, team. Love to hear everyone feeling good. And pretty small opening range there on the first minute. Usually we're kind of thinking about 20 points. 20 to 30 points, right? And we got 20 on the dot. So kind of on the lower end of that expectation. Again, my objective here: be very calm, be very slow, not drain any mental capital in those low volatility environments. And if the price action isn't good here today, I'm not going to feel pressured. I think is probably the best term to like make a bad decision or to over trade like kind of sloppy PA. I think today very much is a day where I need to be very proactive because I think if I'm looking at like the days where I have been least happy with my trading process this year, the theme has been low volume, low volatility, and I would like to avoid making stupid mistakes. And I'm feeling good. I've got no complaints. Uh, Always a little bit sore, but yeah, no complaints. And not huge ranges, not huge volatility. Fake out lower, fake out higher. I would say early doors, maybe NQ is going to be a little bit of an easier trade for us than ES. I'm a little bit worried about that 6,500 psychological level on ES. I think that that's a spot for price action to stall. I'm more of a runner than a lifter. Quite a bit less volume than yesterday's open too. Better on ES though. Bit of a divergent story. Yeah, no tremendous like signs of life yet from the market. I would say I want to be very, very patient this morning, team. Honestly, a little setup like this, volume wise, might give us the earliest entry. Not necessarily on this candle, but if the volume continues to be super, super light, then that creates an opportunity where maybe the third candle of the day could be a little bit more aggressive, or like for it to get back to outlier, maybe wouldn't be so extreme. That might be a little bit easier on ES. Yeah, I'm not top hunting here today. It sounds yeah, it sounds a little bit funny, but I'm not going for that here too aggressively. I'm looking for continuation, not reversals, right? All right, one sec here, team. I think it's time to go get some coffee. Be right back. All right. Well, getting a coffee was the right idea. Price action has not moved. I think I've created a serious problem for myself because I'm a little bit of a Huberman listener, and he was talking about coffee protocols not too long ago, and he was basically saying that like you're wasting your cup of coffee if you don't wait at least an hour to drink it after you wake up. Ideally, you should be waiting 90 minutes, but waiting 90 minutes for a cup of coffee at 5 o'clock in the morning, it feels like the world's most difficult challenge. So that might be my little way of training my market discipline here a little bit. Oh, me too, John. I'm so historically my routine. I know it is crazy talk. Yeah, that's sort of so electrolytes first thing in the morning. Yeah, getting your like getting rehydrated. Absolutely. Oh, awakened Loken, is that the that might be the term? Okay, let's see. Yes, maybe the most likely here, but I'm a bit hesitant. Just below outlier. NQ didn't sustain or break out up and over, so again, I'm gonna have to wait. Like on, I would say any other, well, not maybe not any other day, but on a lot of other days, I'd be willing to maybe talk myself into this of being enough volume. But I don't think I can do it here today with my base expectation that it's going to be very slow, very choppy, very whatever. Like I need to be blown away by the standard. So the reason to wait the 90 minutes, can't remember what the actual part is called. I want to say cortisol, but I don't know if I'm just chatting shit there. But apparently, like it takes your body a bit of time to basically get like all firing and to generate focus. And if you drink caffeine before your body has basically had that opportunity to do so, it slows down that process to like get into your high focus state. So, okay, cortisol is the right one then. So effectively, yeah, caffeine blocks its ability to basically process correctly, and so it like limits your ability. Look at that. We got some smart people in here. I like that. Maybe ES on the five. No. Like I'm personally trying to optimize very much for improving sleep quality and um yeah, being super sharp and focused like right at the start of the trading day. Like I want to be making it as easy as myself as possible to be finding that like flow state. So I feel like when I'm in those psychologies, if you want to call it that, or like when I'm in that flow state, then I feel like that's when I'm using the least amount of my mental capital, yet I'm making the highest quality decisions. So it's kind of the sweet spot here. I'm getting a little bit better at being more consistent with my sleep and getting that where I need it to be. But still got some work there. I find it so hard to fall asleep when it's still light outside. It's quite torturous. Just psychologically, it's quite torturous. Yeah, I do a sleep mask too, and a bunch of that stuff. Honestly, for me, it's the hardest thing is just not using screens and like having that time to decompress at the end of the evening. I tend to not like to do that. This is a gross looking candle on CL. So my routine here, maybe this is a little bit TMI for you guys, but I wake up, a stream. Once the stream is over, I go sauna, shower, walk the dog. That's my move. In the showers, hopefully a cold one. We're consolidating here a little bit at these highs, but like not with too much enthusiasm here yet. Kind of a choppy, slow morning. I will say though, those like first couple sips of coffee when you've been depriving yourself of it, oh man, it hits like crack. Like it's so good. Just makes you feel as if the world is pure again. Right. Yes, not enough volume on this again, right? For me to qualify that. NQ, there's the volume we'd like, but not on the candle we'd want it to be on. At least we know that the outlier volume is true. And I wouldn't say my tolerance is dropping. I'm still drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee, but it just feels so good. Yeah, I hear that too, Don. And honestly, like avoiding processed foods and like junk food and getting enough exercise makes a big difference too. Like I often, yeah, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional basketball player. I grew up to be like, 5'11", so didn't quite work out for me. But I got to be the second best thing, right? It was being kind of a trader. And I think that there's so many correlations to like being a professional athlete as a trader. The preparation, the practice, the taking care of your body, the focus on psychology to perform at a high level consistently. I think all of those things are so similar. I mean, I'm a little bit impartial to the all dressed myself. I'll see if I can find it at some point. Um, but there was a time when I lived in the UK that I was like emailing if they would ship me old dress chips or all dress chips. I was like emailing the distributors. It was a dark time. I think that's a really good point, Market Miner. Like, I think very much trading is self improvement gamified, and the more that we can attack our problems, generally the better. Uh, I don't use a cumulative delta indicator, Deb. I don't know what you're talking about. Again, close but no cigar from a volume perspective. And I really dislike the divergence between ES and NQ. That's probably an indication of chop, right? Not necessarily continuation. The indexes have like a 90% correlation. So if they're not telling me the same story, that's probably not a good thing. A little bit better volume here on the 5. That maybe looks a little bit more interesting. And would like to see it get up above 500, right? That for me be is or is sorry, the resistance. Yeah, I mean N or ES is straight line green too. But the issue today isn't so far the movement, right? It has been that there's been a lack of outlier volume to give me confirmations. So I've had multiple setup triggers, but yeah, divergence with no volume is not an indication of trending PA for me. Not historically, at least. So it's just telling me I need to just slow down and buy time. Hey, Logan, thanks for posting that video. Much appreciated. Yeah, spot on, Mike. Outlier for me is just a binary, increasing versus previous bar and above white line. So we're at 6,500 here. I'd like to see basically that act as my support, right? Get that breakout through that target. Otherwise, I'm going to struggle a little bit to trust it. I just think it's too obvious of a spot for us to reject or to reject in that zone. And if we can break out through that, right, then we've got kind of a double psychological breakout target. And all of a sudden, NQ might be back in business a little bit and like alive again, which would be preferred. I have been thinking about this a lot. Um, but I'm trying to figure out how to implement it. So sorry, that's where the pause came from. But almost like when you have a decent sized gap up or you have a decent overnight move, it's kind of like bullshit price action for the first 30 minutes or so. And then if you have like, or then like things kind of like open up at 10 a.m., basically once that move is exhausted. If you have no overnight price action or kind of limited overnight price action, then like there are maybe early morning breakouts a little bit more reasonable to trade. And I've kind of feel like I've been seeing that pattern play out a little bit, or like that structure maybe play out a little bit here. Again, not today as much as I would maybe expect across the board. I'm seeing it on NQ, not necessarily seeing it on ES. ES has been pretty good continuation. So that's something that I've kind of like seen, and I can't really unsee it. So now I kind of have to just figure out like, yeah, is that like actually legit or not, right? Like I gotta point my gut in the right direction here. And ES close but no cigar. Like it does not want to give me outlier volume. It's kind of insulting. CL, I gotta wait until crude oil data. I know, Ajay. I'm maybe I'll spend my weekend back testing something else because I'm yeah. It doesn't feel like it's worth the mental capital for 3 trades a month. Yeah, if you guys want to give me a list, we can uh I can try to test them all. Like I can try to test Russell and maybe gold. Like I think that would be maybe pretty realistic. I think having maybe small cap exposure would be interesting. Well, small caps would be interesting to have because it would be like you sometimes get differing times of breakouts, if that makes sense, right? So you'll get like rotation sometimes out of large caps and things will slow down there, and then you'll go into small cap land. So like sometimes when mega caps are chill, small caps are bumping. So I'll post a message, guys, in the members chat here. Maybe this evening, and I'll get people to vote based on what they want, and we can try to look at a couple options. And no promise that it'll be immediately done here, but I'll try to find an efficient way of doing it. My main concern with gold, I would say in general, is that it probably doesn't match my desired trading hours the best. Like I think that probably operates a little bit more London, Asia as an opening range versus the US as a opening range. Yeah, or maybe that divergence is finally settling in. ES stalling out at 500, so I think we had a pretty good read there. Again, I feel pretty justified in being patient here so far, but yeah, it's not a super intense start to the day here. I Yeah, I mean, not a huge horror movie guy or like haunted house guy or anything like that. But if you really want to spook me on a Wednesday morning, you give me an ES and an NQ divergence, and yeah, I'm shivering. And again, as much as that's a big sell-off bar, guys, I don't have any scenario here where I'm willing to trade this to the downside, even contextually, right? That doesn't look like anything significant on the daily time frame here yet. We need to keep that context. We still have trending PA here to the upside. So that rejection bar probably not enough, right, for me to want to change that plan or to change that thesis. That I think is where you get into trouble on slow moving days like here today, where you start to get flexible and you start to get aggressive when the market isn't going to pay you for being aggressive. So we'd be looking for reversals for sure if we can get a nice reversal off of that low. But at that point, right, we're probably going to be maybe 15, 20 minutes away from that setup, like being reasonably in play. So we got some time here. Again, like I think this is a day where I have to be very, very slow. I know that sucks, right? Like it's kind of boring, but my job here today is to honestly be honest with myself that these conditions are not setting up to be easy to be green, right? They're setting up, or the probability is more so that it's going to be losing trades versus winning trades. So I would rather be proactive in basically staying in my second most profitable position versus feeling desperate trying to get back to being green. That's kind of like what I'm trying to fight here a little bit, right? Because I think this feels more like Monday's price action than Tuesday's price action. And although I liked Monday's P&L, I didn't like Monday's process. So I don't want to get back in like rewarding those dopamine structures. I think the team has seen in the past, and I don't mean this as a negative, um, but I think there are scenarios, right, where the more buffer you have, the more. No, I know, Jay. This is it's important to talk about, right? The more buffer you have, the more space you have, the more that you just like play a pure random numbers game that you can gamify into being profitable eventually. Like you can effectively like martingale your way into being green on a trading day. And the more buffer you have, the easier it is for you to eventually get there. But to trade with that basically like being your objective, like if I were to trade that way and to do that selfishly, it's going to blow up everyone's accounts, right? Or it's going to cost you a lot of money before it happens. And that's it's not worth it. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the potential reward. Um yeah. And like it's not a way that I would want to even trade on like a personal account, right? Like I would be disgusted with myself if that's how I did. So avoiding those scenarios where I'm getting that reward and I'm forgetting how disgusting it feels is not a priority of mine, right? I want to remember that yeah, greasy trading isn't good. Like you don't want to be living in that world. And so I think, yeah, PTSD is the right term to a certain extent. Like, yeah, I survived, but that doesn't mean I should be proud of it. So there's 10 a.m. A little bit of a sell off here, going into Donnie talking in an hour. Not much else going though at the moment. But like from my perspective, right? The worst process days are the ones where I can make money or like a couple people make money and most people lose. Those if that happens, that's like a leading indicator that I have not done a good job of from a process based perspective. So I want to make sure, right, that we're all able to be on the same page. That's the only fair way to do it. And I say fair, that's maybe also not a perfect definition there, but it's a way of making sure that I'm not making any stupid mistakes, because if I'm deviating from my process, I'm deviating it away from my technique. I'm just like trading just to get to a number. I'm running on the seat of my pants, right? That's probably not the place you want to be as a trader. Like a martingale strategy works if you have unlimited money, right? But none of us do. So it's kind of like it's a bullshit lie you can tell yourself that's very easy to fall in love with. No, not any legitimate ones, I would imagine. Or like maybe not in a huge it wouldn't be their core, but look, I do like a martingale strategy if I'm at the casino. That's a good time, but I'm also playing pretty low table stakes. And like maybe once every 5 years. Like doing a martingale playing roulette, you're pretty much expected to break even, right? That's kind of like where your positive or your EV is, or like a baccarat. But if you start to go up big sizing doing that, casinos will tell you to stop and they'll throw you out. Yeah, all things considered, team, I don't think I've missed out on anything here yet, but it has been a slow day. Yeah, so the issue with the indicator is that TradingView is doing like a review of it, and they've basically suspended my account. So someone submitted some sort of claim or something along those lines, and so I'm literally waiting for TradingView to realize that it's not like uh what that person complained it was. So I'm kind of just waiting for some emails. Honestly, TradingView is such a pain in the ass sometimes. Every time I publish something or try to make a change, they just like freaking panic. It's so annoying. I don't know. Try this again here. All right. Let's see if this works. Again, not missing too much here yet. Kind of just waiting for that potential reversal or just an opportunity to sit on hands for the rest of the day. I'm not seeing too many reasons to be hyper aggressive here yet. And it's going to be pretty challenging for me to change my mind, right? Until I get just clean textbook, smooth PA. I also don't know if we're going to get that before Trump speaks. That seems to be like a little bit of a catalyst for the market. I'll be right back. Coffee number 2. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get any significant amount of volume here at this point. Who knows? But I don't think we're going to get them. Yeah, for me, right, the trending PA is still here to the upside. So I'm not interested in trying to like call a top here off of um so I'm not interested in trying to call a top here, right? Effectively. All I'm interested in is looking for a trend continuation until that fails. Like basically the way I like to think about it, right, is I'm not trying to uh what's the right analogy, but um I'm trying to take a bite out of the middle of the move, right? So I would rather try to catch the trade once it's easy versus trying to bottom pick it or top pick it. That tends to be very expensive and it tends to be much more emotional. So I need to see some sort of failure, right, on a daily time frame to invalidate that. Otherwise, like on the daily, it's still a higher high, still a higher low. Like there are still like the big picture is still bullish here. So Yeah, I don't want to get tunnel vision on like a short-term move because I don't think that that's the path of least resistance. And so I have to be picky here, unfortunately. Like I'm not trying to make money every single day or like trying to catch the biggest move of every single day. I don't think that that's possible. Like I really don't. So all I'm trying to do is how can I set myself up so I can catch 70% of like the moves of the day, right? And there's going to be a certain percentage of those days where you probably aren't going to get any action. Certain percentage of those days you're going to get A plus setups are just going to fail. And so it's just about living with that and being okay with it. I'm not trying to catch every move. I don't need that. I don't need that validation, nor do I need that much action to actually make a lot of money trading. So I would rather do something that I think is consistent and repeatable versus something that I think is a pipe dream. I think to be able to consistently be profitable every single day, it exists in our minds only. I have yet to meet someone who can or whose edge works every single day. So yeah, we're looking still for reversals. I think it's probably going to be a little bit unlikely that we get something prior to Trump creating volatility in the market. So it is probably going to be a pretty chill day here, team, unfortunately. So, Mikey, inside the FAQ section, it should just tell you um, like what market data I have, or if you just go into the watch list, and if you're missing it, there'll be like a little D over here that if you just click, it'll bring you to the right one, or you can just Google CME live data trading view. Hey, appreciate you saying that, Don. It's very, very generous. And yeah, hopefully everyone can learn something here. Even if we don't get a ton of action today, I think it's still a pretty good learning opportunity. Kind of one of those scenarios where like the trades we didn't take probably taught us a lot here as well, right? And any day where I'm in my second most profitable position is still a pretty good day. We got crude oil inventories here in like 5 minutes. That's probably our next catalyst, maybe, right? For some volatility here in the indexes. Yeah, daily, maybe it's got a chance, but it's still finding support off of previous all-time highs, right? So I have zero reasons to trade the gap fill. Yeah, so if we can get it maybe to sync up with, I don't know, a good inventories report. But I don't know. I'm pretty confident I'm not going to get a trade. I'm hopeful I can get proven otherwise, but it's going to take a lot. Okay, 3 minutes, just about till inventories data. Well, at least indexes are starting to sync up a little bit. That story is a bit more consistent. But I'll be honest, team, I have not seen anything that like is appealing to me whatsoever here today. Sorry, I wish I was a little bit more busy, but I'm not going to force it. 100%. 100%, James. Like legitimately, this probably would have been our first signal to the downside. Maybe this one on NQ, right, would have been a setup, but this wouldn't have been an easy breakdown. And I don't know if we would have gotten the pullback there. Would have probably had to been aggressive. Could have maybe pulled it off, but going counter trend, not worth it. It's very much, I think, a situation in trading where a penny saved is a penny earned. All right, so there's inventories. Not really the move I was expecting yet. And we got to be objective here, right? If we were in this downside play, right, trading this, say, from here, stop loss would have been 74, entry would have been 63. We'd be offside, probably about to get stopped out. At the very least, we wouldn't be feeling very good about this trade right now. Although I think doing that little like victory lap probably just ensured it's going to flush 200 points. Funny, the market loves to do the opposite of what you want it to do, right? Yeah, I think all day has been pretty sketchy. PA. We've had like three nice looking candles, I would say, on NQ on this 3 min. Not great on ES. Maybe four, maybe five. Oh, like 1 out of 7 candles are reasonable. It's not great. Oh, sorry. So I think, yeah. See very limited reasons to be aggressive. Man, this has been a lot of work for 20 points. So I don't think I've missed anything here, team. I legitimately don't think I've missed an A plus setup here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be calling it here pretty soon, I think. What do you guys think? Not much going on, right? Well, I mean, I'd be willing to play a reversal potentially, right, off of these lows, but not seeing any signs of that momentum. Like effectively a dip buy, right, off of yesterday's all-time high. So the reason I'm not confident, Eric, is because we've just not seen any level of enthusiasm in the price action anywhere. So the reversal setup, right, seems to be kind of maybe shaping up for like post Trump comments, right? So I'm not super interested in getting stuck in effectively what has been a low volume day going into an environment where algos are going to be reacting to price action or reacting to words effectively, and that's going to create incomprehensible I think candles, because you're just going to rip through levels like they're not there, then stall out, and then rip through in the other direction, stall out. So I don't think I'm going to place a trade here at this point. I don't think I'll be close. Yeah, I've got a group ride here this afternoon. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. My freaking legs need a break though. They're tired. No, that's today, Sonia. That's gonna be today. Yesterday was just a nice run. FAQ section, Patrick. FAQ section. The link is there. But guys, all I ask with the 101s, right, is just let me know what you want to talk about because I get really anxious when it's just like like someone books a one-on-one call and then I don't know how to prepare for it or what they want to talk about, right? So all I ask is you give me, yeah, basically what you want to go after or what you want to talk about. So I can at least do some base level of preparation. Otherwise, yeah, I get really uncomfortable. Or it just makes me nervous. Probably the best way of describing it. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, any other questions here, team? I'm kind of done. I think like a little bit. I think mentally checked out at this point. I don't see anything, so I'm not interested in giving any energy to the market today. All right, final call for questions here. Final call for questions. Yeah, you too, Michael. Enjoy, man. And team, objectively, we've not missed anything here, right? Like this breakdown, not moved anywhere. This would have been a stressful trade. Like don't trick yourself into thinking that you would have made millions on this, right? It's not the reality. And yeah, I think the market's having a hump day too here, Mikey. Absolutely. Yeah, guys, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, I mean, this is still a freaking disaster. I don't know where we would have made money on this. What do you think? What do you think, Ajay? I think we would have maybe gone short exactly at 63.13 and sold exactly at 62.61. Pretty sure that's how we would have traded. Yeah, for sure would be. Yeah. Like that's what you would want to have seen. There it goes. Bye bye. Delayed reaction though. And again, fake out, right? So yeah, no, I don't think it's worth trading any of this nonsense here, team. I'll be back at it again here tomorrow. Hopefully, a nice, smooth trading day at that point. We'll see what the market does here for the rest of the afternoon, but kind of a non-event day here, at least in the morning session. Who knows what happens once Trump yaps away? But I'm not going to sit around and watch for that. That's not my edge. So, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. Otherwise, have yourselves, team, a great day, and I'll catch up with a few of you here in our one-on-ones later this morning. And then otherwise, see you all back in the stream here tomorrow. So have yourselves a great day, team. Stay safe out there. Please don't do anything stupid. And I'll see you tomorrow.